Okay, so now we're gonna do this exercise again. Here. Please, it won't move. It won't move, so I cannot show the, okay. All right, so I'll just use this because for some reason it doesn't, the line doesn't move up. Okay, so I just want to start by saying that I want to remind everyone that we are Homo sapiens, and we've been in Mother Earth for a long, long time. There were other beings before, but Homo sapiens were able to develop the prefrontal cortex, and with that, we learned how to work in collaboration and kind of problem solving. So for that reason, we were able to get rid of the other people. And that's why we are the only ones in this, in Mother Earth. And at the beginning, and because we lived in community, when a mother had a baby, they had the baby, but they had a whole community that would help with the baby. And they say that babies never touch the ground until they were like 2 years old. Imagine, so they always had the grandmother, the uncle, the brother, the sister, the community that will be holding that baby. And that means too that the mother was not doing everything that we have to do now, right? So the mother or caretaker, the father, they were not stressed. So that just try to remember that because we're going to get into the now. And of course, 1500s, we had what happened, what we call colonization. The European, Western civilization, they wanted to explore, and they started going to other countries, and all the areas in the world were colonized. Like I am from South America, from Chile, and yes, we were all colonized by the Spanish. Here you were colonized by the English and French, and the same in all over the world, Africa, Australia, New Zealand, etc. And when they came and they did the colonization, they also brought their own culture, their way of living. And so they started to change and force change really in the indigenous people. And we are all survivors, obviously, to all that. And we have incorporated some of the culture, and we've lost some of the culture that I guess the hunter-gatherer people had. So a little bit about me and why I do this. I am from Chile. I came to Canada many, many years ago, like 50 years ago. We were very young. I came with the father of my kids. We were new, I didn't speak English, like, people that that they just come to the country. And I had 2 sons, and the relationship got to be abusive more and more. I didn't know what to do because I didn't know anything about abuse, really. I thought it had to do with me. But I started to get sick. Sick in what way? I started to have anxiety and panic attacks. And I will notice that when I was out with my kids, that I wanted to go home. And but I also knew inside me that I was not sick, that it had to do with what I was living, that I felt trapped, that I didn't know what to do. Nobody knew because I felt a lot of shame. Nobody knew what was going on. Everybody thought we were the perfect couple. So that was the first thing that I started saying, oh, I can't take this anymore. And then the second one was that my kids were growing up, and I have 2 sons. I didn't want my sons to be like their dad. That was another huge motivator that I needed to do something. So after 14 years, I did separated. And then from then on, I've been flying on my own, the song, and never look back, really. It's not easy, but, it is possible. So let me see what and the other motivation. Yes, somebody has the mic on. Can you mute your mic, please? Cute voice there. So the other motivator is I see the world too. I see how people are killing each other. You know, people, they're still colonizing, taking land from other people. And I really want, and I hope that we can make it a difference because we are mothers, fathers. I'm a grandmother now. You know, we have the opportunity to make things a little different for the kids so they don't end up doing that kind of stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to start with the presentation, and it's called What is Domestic Violence? And it was created by Mary Sarah. What is domestic violence? And it's mostly women because also with the colonization and all that, females lost their power there, and they were, you know, used and abused, etc., etc. So
Marilyn,
women.
I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
I'm just wondering if you might be able to, do you know how to put the full screen so people can see the image better?
I'm trying. It won't go down. It won't.
If
Uh,
you if you click view, you see that top bar and you click view.
I don't see the top bar. I have the black bar from Zoom.
So if right next to file, you know how you'd on
Yes.
your own, yeah. So down the line it says view.
Is the file home?
Yep.
Is
And then
insert.
over further, way all to the corner by
Tell
help,
me how far, because I don't see it. I
all
see
the way to the
file,
right.
home. I know the insert is there. Is that view maybe?
Nope,
I
keep
know,
going
keep
all the
going,
way to the
draw,
right.
Sorry.
design, transition, keep going.
Yeah, but I got out of it, right?
So it's all the way to the right where you're
Okay,
say the
transition.
help. There's
No,
view right beside help.
help. You know, usually when I'm doing it alone, it moves up, then I am
No
able to.
problem. We'll find it. So you were
Can
following
you do it?
along.
Okay, so
Draw.
let's say file,
Yep.
insert, something else, and then
Keep going along that line.
okay, okay.
Animations, slideshow, click slideshow.
Here, somewhere here, but
That
it
is
Yeah,
doesn't.
just above.
slideshow.
Yeah.
You need to click slideshow.
So my problem is that I have the black thing on top, like the
Okay,
Zoom.
well, you can stop sharing.
Okay.
A second. I'm gonna pause our. Just because
Okay.
it'll be easier for everyone to see.
Okay. So then start talking about. Thank you. I don't know if you're doing it, Liz, the recording, but I hope so.
I
So
am.
it's
Yep.
yeah, perfect. So it's mostly women, but also include obviously LGBTQ plus 2S, all the other different ways that people are, and some men too. So, but of course, I'm going to focus mostly in women. Okay, so here is the power and control wheel that was created in 1980. And it's an amazing wheel that has been helping all of us for a long, long time. And why is this important? Because as you can see in the middle, it says power and control. And a lot of people, a lot of women, they say, oh yeah, no, nobody has hit me ever. I don't have any bruises. I'm not bleeding. And they think that the physical abuse is what we call domestic violence. But as you will see, most of the abuse is not physical. Okay, is all these other ways. Okay, so here usually the abuse starts by social abuse, isolating you from your family and friends. Perhaps for whatever reason your partner might be jealous, and something is going on that they don't trust your friends, and then they start isolating you, and or they start monitoring your calls, who are you talking to, or how far did you drive, or again saying who you can see or you can talk to, only the people that he or she decides. And preventing you from work because you have to take care of the kids. And the key is isolating the woman, and slowly that, it starts affecting the woman, especially if you have a child. And then we have emotional abuse, where the person starts teasing you, invalidating your feelings. Now I understand why they do that, but we'll talk about that. Using guilt, blaming you for everything, being jealous again, threatening that I'm going to leave, or they're going to do some harm to you, withholding affection, waking you up sometimes at night so you're not able to have a good sleep, or silent treatment, and stalking, following you because they don't trust you anymore, so they start stalking you. Then the verbal abuse, by name calling, such you're stupid, crazy, weak, swearing, all the names, they come out. Yelling, being loud, yelling, insulting you, condescending, being sarcastic, all these other forms of verbal abuse. And this one that is, like a lot of people talk about gaslighting, but psychological mental abuse, in using intimidating gestures or actions, threatening suicide, to kill her or to kill himself. I don't want to live anymore. Displaying weapons sometimes, and the gaslighting, when an abuser tries to control a woman by changing her sense or confusing her sense of reality. How do they do that? By saying things like, are you sure? You have a bad memory, like questioning what you're saying. You're so sensitive. Why are you so defensive? There you go again. Or I didn't do that. If you're trying to talk to the person and say, yeah, I'm concerned about this and that, they say, I didn't do that. You're overreacting. You need help. You're so pathetic. Why are you upset? I was only kidding you when I said that. I never said that. That never happened. You're so thin-skinned, or you're imagining things. So again, the women's sense of reality gets really shaky. Or he continues saying, can you hear yourself? Stop acting crazy, right? So all these ways are, the person is saying, the man in this case is saying it to make the woman feel, not very okay. You start thinking, am I crazy? Am I too sensitive? What's going on with me? Why am I so reactive all the time, etc.? Or they use children. That's another form of abuse, threatening to harm or take children away, belittling her in front of the children. That happens a lot. I remember those things, like the partner, the father saying things or throwing things at you, belittling you, taking all your authority in front of the kids, refusing to make child support payments or other things that have to do with the children. Financial abuse. Usually the man controls all the money. If she's raising the children and a stay-at-home mom, she may have no means to her own income to support herself and the children. And then she's always going to be put in the position that she has to ask for money. And when we are working or we have a partnership, we have an agreement, right? That you don't have to be asking for money. This is the money. But in her case, she has to be asking for money. And that is humiliating. And also it takes a toll on you being asking for money all the time. And makes you feel crazy and worthless. And then you start not feeling good at all. And you start feeling lonely. You feel numb, like you don't feel anymore. You start not valuing yourself, doubting yourself because of all what he's saying. You lose yourself. And the reason for you to start feeling like what is happening to me is because usually when women are in this kind of relationship, they start losing their friendships too. Or the friends get tired of hearing of this, and they don't know what to do. Sorry, they don't know what to do, how to help you. So she starts being more and more alone. And with that, you feel bewildered, confused. You wonder if you're going crazy. You're totally overwhelmed. You're disillusioned about everything. And there's an emotional roller coaster and many other, etc. I said, so I don't keep on going. Women start living in stress mode all the time. So you're reactive all the time, or you're depressed all the time. You're fearful. You feel terrified because what am I going to do? I have maybe a baby. Maybe I have 2 children, maybe 3 children. What do I do? And I don't work outside the house. How can I survive? Afraid she will not get out safely. He has threatened you. He said he's going to kill you, or he's going to take the kids. So, or he's going to kill somebody else from your family, or he'll do something. So you're terrified that what he can do if you leave, and you fear of being trapped. Yes, and you're trapped really. Afraid of people and crowds, and that's when you start developing the anxieties and the panic attacks. That your body is telling you, is trying to communicate to you, no, there's something wrong here, and you have difficulty breathing. So if you're not breathing properly, you might be getting exhausted and illness, because we need to breathe properly to be okay. And the anger, that's the other part. You start getting angry at yourself. Why can I do something? How did I get into this? Why did I marry, or why am I with this person? Why did I have a baby with this person? And then because you're always in this anger mode, you start yelling at the children, or you repress the anger inside you. Anger as a secondary emotion, as you know, anger comes out on the top, but under that you have humiliation, shame, sadness, disappointment, all the other feelings are pushing the anger up. So the source of anger is pain, from powerlessness, from rejection, from unmet needs or expectations that you have, violating your boundaries. Somebody is violating your boundaries all the time. And this is a kind of the result. You start developing chronic pain, migraine, pain here, pain there, pain everywhere, and gastrointestinal disorders, stomach, irritable bowel syndrome, a sleep disorder. You can sleep, and sometimes your partner is not allowing you to sleep too, or the kids are waking up at night. Post-traumatic stress disorder, self-harm, and others. Like she didn't put everything that affects the mom, or the consequences of all this. And here we have a list, a huge list of with more impact, the depression, no energy, feel overwhelmed all the time, secrets, forced to keep secrets, not saying what's going on at home. You feel lonely, you feel suicidal, you're nervous all the time, you're anxious, feel on alert all the time. You start smoking more, maybe you need things to sleep, pills to sleep, feel exhausted all the time, etc. And you stop doing what you enjoy. And sometimes you think, what happened to me, right? What happened to me with all? Why am I being like this? You don't understand what's happening, and we're going to be looking into that. So the real problem is not you. The real problem is the abuse that you're experiencing in the relationship. There is no excuse for abuse. And women need to be believed. And that's the other part. Sometimes you go out and reach out for help, and people don't believe because your partner might be a very nice person outside the house, and so they don't believe you. They think that you are too crazy. And yes, sometimes women, we start acting crazy because you are nervous all the time. You have all the stuff we talked about before. But women, what they need to be believed, supported, and understood. And I know we are more in that stage now that we understand that all people have suffered abuse, and there is more support. So, okay, that is the end of the first part. Does anybody have questions about what is domestic violence? No? Okay, I know. 30 years ago, we didn't know all this. Now it's so clear. Okay, so the second part, what I want to do the first breakout room. Elise, if you're there, I need to do the, okay.
I'm ready.
I'm not sure how many people are out there, but if you can put 3 people.
Yeah, we got it set up.
Yes, and the question is if you can get together and give yourself like 2 minutes each. Let's say you had a problem, you were upset with somebody, and then you look for somebody to talk to and to get some support. And I want you to think, when you got the support, what did the other person do, say, or express through body language that made you feel seen, heard, and understood? That's the first one. And the second question is, what did the other person do, say, or express through body language that made you feel not seen, heard, or understood? So you have a problem, you go and talk to somebody for help. With one person, you feel like they heard me, and with the other person, they didn't. So if you can talk about what is it that you see in the other person, what do they do that you feel seen or not seen? Any questions?
I don't know how good I'm going to be at this.
Just just be. It's okay if you, yeah.
Marilyn, could you say the question again so I can type it in the chat? I'm not able to copy and paste.
Oh, okay. What did the other person do? Like, what did they do with their hands or their face, say, or express through body language that made you feel seen, heard, and understood? What did they say, right? And then the second one is the same question, and where you didn't feel seen, heard, or understood. You didn't feel like people wanted to hear you. They didn't understand you. What did you see in the other? In their face, the gestures. So what the good part and the bad part. Anybody else that has a question? And 2 minutes each, like short. It's going to be a short breakout room. Luck.
Shall I send them into breakout groups now?
Yes, please.
Great. So you can find the chat questions or the questions for your breakout group in the chat. And you'll have about 6 minutes, yeah?
Yes.
And
2 minutes.
so, yeah, 2 minutes each, and we will close the breakout groups after 6 minutes. Okay. And you should be automatically moved into the breakout groups. If you have any trouble, you can always go back to the main room and we'll be here. So Marilyn, it's all groups of 3 except one group of 4.
Okay, perfect. And how many people do you have here?
There's 5 rooms, so 15.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna sit for a sec. I didn't stop the recording.
Here, I'll stop it now.
Nobody's coming back.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back. Please, you won the prize. You're first.
First back.
Yeah. We should have some prizes.
And Marilyn, if you want, you can unshare your screen so you can see everyone while they're sharing back.
Again, eh? And you're gonna help me do this, put the slide again?
Yeah, I
Please.
will.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm sure we're back in. I just want to say, oh, Marilyn, technology, hey, because you know that what happened with my phone, my work phone and my home phone got synced up, and it's caused so many issues.
Oh,
I'll talk to you. See how he solved it.
I'm not able to solve any of those problems. I just go somewhere.
Call a friend.
So we're all back.
Okay, all right. So I don't see everyone, so and I don't even see the options of not seeing of seeing more people.
At the top corner, you should be able to click view. There's like 9 little dots, and then you can click view and then gallery.
Yes, so I understand that, but today is I'm having a different day, and that's okay. I'm gonna accept it. So for I forgot to say if you could choose somebody to report from your group. So let's say that you can choose one, somebody that wants to talk about what it was talked about in your group. Let's go with group one. What kind of ideas came out? One.
We lost one of the girls on the screen. I think the baby touched the screen or something like that. We're basically like, I was kind of speaking on that, you know, like any differences between parenting shouldn't be discussed in front of the children. And because in a lot of the sense, like things that can happen is like when you don't feel validated, like you don't feel like the person's listening to you. And then if you don't feel listened to, then you don't really listen to the other person. So that can cause conflict in the relationship, right? That's
Right.
what I was saying. And then the other girl was saying too that, I don't know, can I speak on her behalf?
Yeah, if you remember, of course, yes.
Okay. She was saying that she was wanting to basically do a class on gentle parenting, and she wasn't feeling like this class was for her because she said that it's basically focusing on the relationship with the parents.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But the relationship with the parents is like, I'm here to do this program, right? So
Yeah. So in terms of what you said about what the person you would like the person to do is to validate you, and they will show you that they're validating you, maybe saying to you what they heard you saying, or you're feeling this and that. So I hear that. Okay, perfect, and that's great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and just I don't think that any conversations like that should be had around the children, right?
Yeah, right.
Or any gestures towards like criticizing each other and what you're doing or anything should never be, kids should not be subject to that, right? Like,
So you want to hear the other person say, okay, or this you don't want to have this kind of discussion in front of the kids, and you prefer to do that in private, not with the kids around here.
yeah,
So
because they learn what they see, right?
yes, so perfect. Okay, thank you
Okay.
very much. I'll
Yeah.
move to group number 2, please. Something that if somebody can say what you guys talked about, what did the other person do that you felt hurt, or what did the other person do that you don't feel like validated or you don't feel seen or heard? Number 2, can anybody take the chance to say what you guys talked about?
I'm just going to speak up and say I don't recall what group I was in. So if there is no group 2, maybe that was the group I was in.
Yeah.
Because I didn't take note.
Because I forgot.
And I'll speak for my group if there's no group 2. Last chance, group
Yes.
2. Come on up.
I think
Okay.
I think I was in group 2.
That's okay. You can, but you can
I don't know
do the
what
group
group
that you were in. Go for the, you can go. You can speak.
Me? Okay. Oh, so it says I was in group 3, but that's okay. So the things that were indicators for us about feeling heard were somebody listening without interrupting, but also making gestures to indicate they were listening, like and those kinds of things. Having eye contact, a calm presence, a calm voice, being patient, not distracted, offering a quiet space to talk, and validating feelings.
Yeah, perfect. And how about the other side?
The other side would be like being dismissive or minimizing your feelings, saying things, making comments, you're always talking like that, or you always say that, or if they're not attentive, they're distracted, their tone of voice for sure, and if they appear agitated, could also be indicators. And
yes.
I think I already said distracted. I think I wrote it twice. So
great.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Group 3. Thank you. How about the grade 2?
Go ahead.
Somebody can.
Yeah.
Speak.
So in our group 2, for speaking to somebody and having them listen and understand, some of the things are very similar to what has been said already. We also were, the other person obviously stopping doing everything that they're doing and focused on you with eye contact, sometimes just them leaning a little bit towards you, or sometimes a hand on your hand as they're listening to you. You really feel validated that this person is actually focusing on what you're saying. For the other side of not being heard, very similar again to what's been said. One thing that I've noticed in my own experience is when you start talking and the other person then turns it to them, they start talking about their feelings, their experiences, and they're no longer even listening to what you're saying. So in those instances, you just basically shut down, right? So did you have anything to add to that, Farine?
No, you covered it really well. Thank you, Lori.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Lots of good points, both ways, being seen and heard and not being seen and heard. Great, thank you. Is there another group? Elise, is there another group or
There's group 4, which is Sonia, Akashmi, and Alexander.
Right, somebody could
Group
report.
5, Danielle, Louise, and Rogel.
I think we had Louise already.
I think she's muted.
Okay, who's trying to speak then? From group 4, I heard Sonia, and can remember the other 2 names. It's okay.
I guess I'll just share. For me, when I'm being heard is when someone is like how everyone said, their body language is there. They're facing me. Their knees, their feet are also in my facing me. However, for me, my weakness is, sure, I got their attention this time, but next time when I want to share or vent to them, they're no longer interested, or I can see a different move. So for me, I have to learn that, not everybody wants to hear or be part of your, I call it drama in my group, so I don't want to minimize what we are feeling, but nobody wants to hear it, and nobody cares. So for me, I have to really learn to just keep it with my counselor.
So what do they do when they don't want to hear you? What do they do? What do you see the person do when they don't want to, you realize, oh, they don't really want to hear me again.
Yeah, I feel it's their body language. They're either in a rush or, like I think someone said, they interrupt you, or you can tell, they're a little bit more they don't have that calm demeanor or attentive demeanor that they did the first time around.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
And I feel like that I wish counseling was more available, not just for us adults, but for children as well.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, I think we need even groups, right? Like we can go and talk about our stuff, and that we can feel heard, etc. Thank you, Sonia. So the next group, if you have anything else new that hasn't been said that you like to add in terms of the question, or we'll just move on.
I can add something really quick. Something came up that culturally, different cultures don't necessarily face each other and do eye contact. A person in our group says they're busy doing things and talking, but they've had to adjust that in North America and this culture, that this kind of like stop and pay attention is different than the doing. And then one other thing too is I talked about consent. So asking before sharing, because I modeled that even in my own job when I don't have the capacity to hear what's going on for someone else. I'm giving them all the body language that I'm not available. But if they would have asked to begin with, do you have time? I would really like to share what's going on with me right now. I try to practice that myself.
That's great. Yeah, that's really great idea. Very great. Everything that everyone said is right on, right? Like we all notice when that there's some things that people do face to face, or the way that they look at you, and or they say what they hear you saying, and the other way around too, right? When you feel like you're not being heard or dismissed, and that people have no time. Yes, exactly. And culturally, you're right. Some people have come from different cultures. We live in a multicultural society. Like, for example, I want to say I'm Latino person. I want everybody smiling. Probably some trauma in my childhood. I want everybody smiling. So if somebody's not is smiling at me and listening to me, I think they're angry, or they are, they want me to shut up. Anyway, so culturally, we all have some stuff that we come with too. But okay, so great. Thank you very much. And now we're going to start doing the second part. So I'm going to go and share. Let's see, share screen again. Share screen with sound. This is the one that we want. Okay, wow. You remember that it needs to be the full screen. Okay, so again, let's go back, and I'm going to be focusing on the impact on mom and the child. Okay, so
Marilyn,
yes.
sorry to interrupt, but we're at 10:58 in case you wanted to take a break at some point.
Okay, I'm going to do the beginning of this part, and then we can have a little 5-minute break, and then we will continue. Thank you, Elise. So I want to remind you that we are mammals. We are part of the mammals, and we need to be in community. That's a need. That's our origin. That's our natural state, to be with a group of people. And just like the lion, as you can see in the picture, or elephants, or indigenous there. And I don't know if you ever seen an elephant baby being born, but when the mama elephant drops the baby on the ground, all the other mama elephants or other female elephants do come around the little baby elephant, and they touch the baby with their trunk. And I think that's amazing, because that is a message that is going to stay with that baby, that all those other mama elephants are also part of her community or his community, that they will be taking care of her. So we're so similar in terms of our needs, but at the same time, we've lost some of them. Okay, so here we go. A little bit of background again. So we had the hunter-gatherer at the beginning, and then it changed, right? It started changing, and then we had the agricultural society and the industrial society. And now since 1950, last century, it became fashionable to have nuclear families. Now the families are, you have a mom and a dad and 2 kids, or a single mom with a child, or a single dad, or grandparents with children, or foster home too, right? So quite different than what we had in the hunter-gatherer. That picture is here. So the nuclear family is really good for the economy because it created more jobs. Everybody needs more tables, more chairs, more, everything, because everybody's living separately now, and people get more work. It's been great that way, but it's been horrible for mothers, fathers, and children, unfortunately. And that's where we live now here in North America. I know that we have a multicultural community, and some families, they still have like extended family, but not really a large extended family. Maybe you have the grandparents living there, but in the past, you had a community, a village. It takes a village to raise a child. So, okay. So what do babies need when they are born? First question here. Okay, so again, I wanted to do a comparison with the other animals. I have the reptile, birds, and mammals, because all of us, all of the animals, we have the same kind of needs. One is the attachment one. Attachment one means that someone that who will take care of your needs. And when we grow up, we want to take care of others. Not everybody has that in them, but a lot of people want to have kids, etc. And the other big need is authenticity. And what is authenticity? Is being able to identify what you need and ask for it. So that is your viscera. When, let's say, I am hungry and I know there's a signal inside me that I want to eat, or I'm feeling afraid, etc. All those other feelings inside, they are inside us, and we need to be able to feel that. Okay, and that is the authenticity, when we ask for it and we get it from somebody else. So let's look at the crocodile there, the little baby. So a mama lay an egg, and she stays close to them, obviously not on top of them, but close to the egg. And when the egg hatch, I don't know exactly how, but somehow these little babies go in her mouth very carefully, and she takes them slowly to the river or to the water, where they're gonna start swimming, and they will eat, etc. And that is kind of like the attachment that they have from moving from here to there. And with the birds are a little different, because birds, the mama bird also is going to lay some eggs, and she's going to sit on it, and sometimes the father bird also sits on them, and that they keep them warm until they hatch. And when they hatch, the mama and the papa, they go and look for worms, and they bring them to them, because they are asking for what they need, right? Pio, pio, pio. And when they start getting feathers, if you look in YouTube, you'll see that the mama bear and the mama bird and the papa bird, they kind of show the birds how to fly from one branch to another branch. It's amazing. So they need that attachment, somebody to look after them, to bring them food. And some birds, they like to live in community. Some birds, not so much. And with mammals, of course, we're a little different. We have our babies in our tummy. And I don't know if anybody's seen a horse being born. If you've seen a horse being born, can you please open your mic and tell me, what does the baby horse do the first day they are born? When they come out to the ground, they're dropped to the ground. Anybody? Maybe not. Elise, do you know? Maybe not. Okay.
They stand up.
Yes, thank you, Otis. Yes, exactly. The first day they're born, they're able to stand up, and they kind of walk and move and look for mama's milk, or they start breastfeeding feeling. That's amazing, right? That they are so developed that they can do that. And if you see the dogs and cats, they move, they can move. And then look at human beings. We are also mammals. So what can we do? What can a baby, human being baby do when they are born? If somebody can help me, what can they do?
They cry.
Yeah, so they can't do anything other than cry. And what else can they do? They can eat, right?
They want to eat, yeah.
They can eat, they pee, they poo, and they maybe move a little bit the hands, and that's it. That's all what they do for a long time. And so they need somebody that is going to provide attachment, somebody that will look after them for a long, long time, because we know now that the babies, when they're born, that's why they cannot stand up, they cannot speak, they cannot do much, because their prefrontal cortex hasn't even been developed. And it's going to take from 20, 25 years to really finish this development. So you need a mom, a father, or grandparent, or caretaker with a long commitment, because you need it for a long time. And the really important part is that all the animals, all the babies, especially us human beings, we need attachment, somebody that will take care of us. If not, we die. And the authenticity, because the only way we know we are hungry or that we are cold or we are feeling afraid is by crying, right? And we need that human being that is going to be able to respond and take care of us. That is really, really important, because we need that person that is going to take care of us, but we also need to have those feelings inside us to tell us when we need something, because that helps us survive. Okay. So here again, the babies, what babies need, they need attachment, and they see that whoever takes care of them as everything. And we need to be extra conscious, because babies are born not fully developed and have no prefrontal cortex, and this will be developed in interaction with the caretaker. And not only that, but they're also, with this interaction, they'll be developing like the endorphin, what takes care of your pain or pleasure, the dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, all that stuff that is really important, but it takes a long time. So what is it that babies need?
Marilyn, sorry, I'm just going to interrupt around a break in case you want to
right,
speak.
sorry. Thank you. Okay, 5 minutes break. Thank you. Thank you for interrupting. Love you.
You're welcome.
I can just go like a train. So what children need, and this is really important. All of us were children at one time. All children needs this to feel safe and secure where they are, to be seen, heard, understood, to be soothed and have a sense of belonging to a family and community, to be unconditionally loved and accepted and validated with all their emotions. When I say all their emotions, I'm talking about fear, anger, hunger, joy, grief, sadness, curiosity, lust, playfulness, all their feelings. They don't have to work to make the relationship work. They can rest from that. And unfortunately, many of us, we were not allowed to have all these feelings. If you look at each of our homes, we were allowed to have some feelings, and the other ones have to be left out. And then we had to work perhaps to maintain that relationship and to feel accepted and loved. So when we get these needs, we are going to have a feeling that we belong, that we're worthy, that I matter, I'm important, because people are, looking and hearing, etc., what's happening with me, that I'm deserving, that I can express all my feelings, that I'm whole. My nose is in the right place, the right shape, or, everything is perfect. And we have unconditional love and acceptance. Okay, so when that is given, what kind of mom, parent, or caretaker do we need, right, to have all those needs met? Of course, we need the perfect parent and somebody that is joyful, that is in a joyful moment, and is calm, as well emotionally available. What does that mean? Somebody that understands their emotions, that is able to talk about their emotions, and they're in the present. They live in the present, because that's something else. Babies are always in the present. They don't have past or future. They don't have what happened yesterday in their memory, or what am I going to do tomorrow? No, they're just in the present. And I think now that babies know when somebody is in the present and totally attuned to them, because they will smile, they will respond, etc. They know when you're not. They are very, they have all that wisdom when you are born. And obviously a parent that is not stressed and is able to connect. Not stress means that you're not worrying about all the problems, paying the rent, where to live, etc. When we do that, when we are all in peace, etc., and happy to be there with the baby feels, I'm with you, I've got your back, I love you, I'm here for you, I see, I hear, I soothe you, I understand you're having a bad time, and I'm here for you. And I put able to repair, because sometimes we're not able to respond right away, and the baby cries a little bit, you're busy doing something, and you can respond right away, but you're able to reconnect with the baby and say, hello, what's happening, etc. And again, always remembering that the baby's prefrontal cortex develops through interaction between caretaker and child. So the parents, as you can see, I put two hands there, because I'm saying we need support. Parents need support, extended family or community supporting. Because we don't have the extended family. Many of us are immigrants, and some live, your families live in another province. We need that community supporting us. So this is really crucial. So here it is, the mom showing that, and the dad showing that they are comfortable expressing their emotion. That's being emotionally available. They are open to having honest conversation. They don't try to hide or deny their feelings, being present in a way that goes beyond physical proximity. So, but the reality that we have nuclear families, and that we don't have all our families here around us to help us. So what happens in reality? So other than domestic violence, there are many other stresses, right? The rent, immigration, the babies, maybe if you're in court, am I going to be allowed to visit my kids or see the kids? I don't want them to be with me too. So people are under stress, and because we don't have a lot of support. So some stress are acute and it's good, we have to rush to get to the doctor, etc. But when we have a lot of stresses, it becomes a chronic stress. You're always stressed, always stress. That is not so good. And okay, so here's an example of a mom. As you can see, the baby is looking one way. The mom is totally inside in the past or the future, what she has to do. Do I have a doctor's appointment? Do they have to go? I have to go to the bathroom, or does the baby need to I have to change the diapers, etc. So it's all this conversation that it goes in our mind, blah, 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 blah. I call it the blah, blah. That is really stressing us too. So let's look at the impact to mom's body and mind. And again, we cannot separate the mind from the body, the emotion from the physiology, and the individual from the environment. It's all connected, all connected. And in the past, not too long ago, doctors and everybody thought that the mind and the body was something different, but now we know that this is all together. We are all together. Emotions affect our physiology affects our emotions, etc. And our community, the outside environment, affects us all. Okay, so I'm going to do a little visualization, and I ask you to please follow what I'm saying. Some people maybe have done this, but just imagine that we have to go to buy some lemons, and we go to the grocery store, we go in and we see a mountain full of lemons, and there's a plate, a dish, they're a plate with lemons cut in half like this one. And they're all there for us to try the lemon. And I'm gonna ask you to please imagine you go and pick one up, they're clean, they're there for you to try it, and then bring it close to your mouth and lick it with your tongue. Lick the lemon. Did anybody had a reaction?
Sour.
Sour. And when that sourness, what happened in your mouth? If anybody had a reaction when you tried it, when you licked it, what happened in your mouth?
Well, it goes bitter.
Bitter. And when it's bitter, did you get anything in your mouth? How did you get any saliva?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I wanted to go. Thank you. And okay, that shows you how powerful is our mind, that just thinking about the lemon, because do we have the lemon here? No, right? We don't have the lemon. We just thought about it, just thinking. Right away, hormones were created and we were able to create saliva like if we were tasting a lemon. But the mind, the brain, at the same time of being powerful, the brain doesn't know when something is real or not. Okay? Doesn't know that the lemon is not really here as long as we.
It's making my mouth water right now.
Okay, so let's do the next one. And I know some of you have done this with me. So let's imagine that we are with your kids and we go outside the door and there's a tree, and on that tree there's a lion like this, and the lion goes, wow, jumps towards you and your children. What happens to your heart when that occurs? This is reality, right?
Beating fast. Starts beating fast.
Exactly. What happens with your blood pressure?
Goes up.
Goes up too. What happens with your muscles? Do you relax or what happens?
Tense.
Exactly. What happens with your breathing?
Shorter.
Exactly. And then the glucose will go up too, right? And then at the same time, just like with the lemon, as soon as we see that lion, hormones are going to be released. And these are stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. And they flood our body. And then, as you can see, the little figure stick here, the heart is incredibly intelligent, has wisdom, right? The heart right away knows that when we see a lion, this is a life and death threat. It starts pumping all the blood to your arms and your legs. Why do you think that it does that? Why does the heart start pumping all the blood, most of the blood to your heart, to your arms and your legs?
To defend yourself.
Exactly. We go into what we call fight, flight, or freeze, right? And the heart can pump all the blood really fast, but at the same time, it cannot get more blood. It cannot produce more blood. So it has to steal blood from other organs that at that moment don't need to be using all the blood that we have, some blood. So it goes into the digestive system and it will shut it down. It will take the blood that your digestion was using to digest the food that you just had, or so it shuts it down. the same. If you, let's say, you were fighting a virus or a bacteria, and but we are facing this lion, as soon as this happens, the immune system shuts down also. If all the blood that is being used to defend us from the COVID or any other illness gets shuts down, as well as if you're trying to have baby, the sexual organs get shut down, and also from the brain. And the brain organ is an organ that uses a lot of blood and oxygen, so it takes a lot of blood and oxygen from our brain. So this happens because we have to defend ourselves, like you said. And now I want to ask you, what happens with our thinking when we don't have enough blood and oxygen in our brain? How is our thinking?
Not clear. Foggy.
Exactly. We cannot think clearly. Somebody asks us, when were you born? Right now, I can't. Or if you don't speak English and they ask you something, it's not there, right? It's all gone. You cannot think clearly. Exactly. So the brain runs out of enough blood and oxygen, so we cannot think clearly. And as you can see, I have the lion, and we can have this reaction if somebody's coming with a knife to us, or somebody's going to come to hit us, or a car or a truck is going to almost run over us. And at the same time, you see that face here, we also have the same kind of reaction when we don't get our needs met. Let's say somebody's being disrespectful, somebody's yelling at us, somebody is taking something from us. So the physiology is going to react to something that is real. Let's say the lion is a real thing that you have to run away from, but also is going to react to the things that you're thinking. Or if you're remembering, for example, somebody yelled at me yesterday, or they took my something away, I want to say the mind, the body, everything is going to react at that too, even though it's not really a real thing. We're just thinking about it, but the reaction is inside our body, and we have the heart beating fast, the muscle tense, etc. And we are creating this. I'll go back. I want to say again that when the emotional system gets going, and something happens, and it will affect our immune system too. Everything is connected. Unfortunately, we didn't know that before, but now we know everything affects everything else. And here, so the cocktail of stress, anger, fear, etc., of cortisol or adrenaline and other hormones is great when really fighting a lion or something real, but it's toxic when it's due to emotional threats that are not real events at the time. So why is it okay with the lion and something happening? Because we have to run, so we're going to use the energy, we use the cortisol and adrenaline. But if we are home and we are, let's say, thinking about what's going to happen, am I going to get fired? My husband or my partner is going to come and call me names or attack me, etc. I am, this is not real, right? I'm already thinking, but I am producing, when I'm thinking about it, all that cortisol and adrenaline. And they say that if you drink an ounce of adrenaline, it's poison. So, and we're not doing we're not running, so we're not getting rid of it. So that is all staying in your body. And I have this picture of a mom. She's in an abusive relationship. She has anxiety. She has lack of sleep. Maybe MCFD is involved. She's thinking, maybe I'm going to lose my kids. I have no money, no housing. I'm confused. I have a precarious status, so I don't have a permanent residency, etc. So that is a lot of stress, and all that stress is producing cortisol, adrenaline, that. And that's the mom. But if the mom is pregnant, or if the babies are there too, they are also feeling the stress, because if the mom is stressed, the environment is also going to be stressed. and they feel the flight, paralyzed when they feel fear. Unfortunately, children, when they're little, they cannot run away, they cannot fly or fight. They cannot fight you back also. So they can't. So they freeze, right? And the freezing state starts and they start to tune out. And then that might become an issue later. Okay, so we are going to watch a video, and in this video is an experiment or that they were doing research to see how the baby reacted. The mom is looking in front of the baby, and you'll see what happens. Let's go there. Area 8.
Babies this young are extremely responsive to the emotions and the reactivity and the social interaction that they get from the world around them. This is something that we started studying 30, 40 years ago, when people didn't think that infants could engage in social interaction. In this still face experiment, what the mother did was she sits down and she's playing with her baby, who's about a year of age.
I'm like a girl. Oh.
And she gives a greeting to the baby gives a greeting back to her.
Yes.
This baby starts pointing at different places in the world, and the mother's trying to engage her and play with her. They're working to coordinate their emotions and their intentions, what they want to do in the world. And that's really what the baby is used to. And then we ask the mother to not respond to the baby. The baby very quickly picks up on this, and then she uses all of her abilities to try and get the mother back. She smiles at the mother. She points because she's used to the mother looking where she points. The baby puts both hands up in front of her and says, "What's happening here?" She makes that screechy sound at the mother, like, come on, why aren't we doing this? Even in this 2 minutes, when they don't get the normal reaction, they react with negative emotions, they turn away, they feel the stress of it, they actually may lose control of their posture because of the stress that they're experiencing.
Okay. I'm here. And what are you doing? Oh, yes. Oh, what a big girl.
It's a little like the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is that normal stuff that goes on, that we all do with our kids. The bad is when something bad happens, but the infant can overcome it. After all, when you stop the still face, the mother and the baby start to play again. The ugly is when you don't give the child any chance to get back to the good. There's no reparation, and they're stuck in that really ugly situation.
Okay, so that I found a really powerful video. And I want to remind that most people probably, we were born like that we were not picked up right away and as babies. And not too long ago, people used to leave their kids cry. They will cry to go to sleep. And, all that kind of stuff is hard when we think that as human beings, we've done all this stuff. But now we know, and we know better. So some moms are going to have, extended family attachment, and always attachment will trump authenticity. When the baby has to choose and between being authentic or having the mom there, the baby's going to choose attachment. And let's continue here. So here is in domestic violence. Maybe the father is yelling at her. The mom is paralyzed, cannot think clearly because in this situation, she is in this kind of situation. But at the same time, she's holding the baby, protecting the baby, and what she needs is the support, right? Again, going back to what we watched at the beginning, mom goes through all this. They don't know what to do. and the children, they are not okay, right? So they start acting out because mama don't respond, or maybe gets too angry, explodes, yells, or doesn't do anything. And the kids have needs and they're not really seen or heard. And they start screaming, crying a lot, tantrums, bite other kids, having problem with other children, a stomachache, headaches, frequently throwing things. So, what we call acting out. And I don't know, what do you think is acting out? If anybody can tell me, what do you think is under the acting out? Okay, I'll continue. It's just a signal that they are having a hard time. The children are having a hard time and they don't have the words or the knowing how to say, feeling I'm frustrated or I'm this and no. So the only thing that they know is showing it with their body the best way they can. And so remember, acting out is a baby trying to tell you what's going on inside themselves, that they don't have words for it yet. So what happens with babies and children when mom and carrier are stressed and can't repair, because the importance is, okay, things happen, baby crying, you can't respond, you're cooking, something is going on at home, but then you go back and you repair, right? Like you say, hello, and that is the good and the bad. But the ugly part, we're going to see the ugly part. Okay, this is when if children don't get messages of being accepted, loved, etc., babies, children might get the following negative beliefs. This is when parents don't react, we don't connect with the baby's need. They're going to start thinking, I'm not worth it. It's not that they think about it, okay? It's just, this is what happens. I'm not worth it. I'm not good enough. I don't matter. I'm not important. There is something wrong with me. I don't belong here. I have a sister. She used to say that. I don't belong in this family. The child starts believing this is not a safe world for her or for him. And the child, because he's a baby, they can't see or think that the parents or caretakers are the ones having the problem. They're the ones that are stressed out or whatever is happening. They don't have their things together, their stuff together. It has no power. The baby has no power to change them. So they take it personal. Take it personal, and we do that too. We take it personal, and it becomes our beliefs about ourselves. And belief become the way we live and our attitude in life. When parents are stressed and can't look at them, the child, so we have a negative belief that it becomes a habit, habitual energy. Like, I'm not good enough, there's something wrong with me, I'm not likable anywhere, I must work to be accepted, maybe I have to be successful in what I do, I have to be pretty, I have to be young looking, I have to be intelligent, or I have to be obedient, I have to be good at school, have lots of money, etc. So we start changing, and I will explain that. Boys-girl trauma is a wound inside us. It becomes a belief in the present that limit us. So when we grow, anything that remind us about all these beliefs and that we have about ourselves, that we're not good enough, maybe I'm less than other people, I should not take so much time, so I should speak fast, for example. Anything that happens in the present that reminds you of the traumas that you have from before, that trauma takes over and it becomes your present, and that's your reaction. And again, reminded that children, when they're children, babies, children, they're always going to choose attachment. The sense of belonging is way more important than authenticity for even adults. Just think about what happens when somebody breaks up with you, or you lose somebody, they die. It's really hard, and it's not easy. For children, it's even more, it's harder. So they're always going to choose attachment. They'll do anything. So now we know that children will suppress their authenticity, their needs. If I feel cold, I'm not going to ask for a sweater or nothing. Or if I'm hungry, and let's say if you have a 1-year-old, a baby, and is hungry, that baby, when she's hungry, even if it's at 2 o'clock in the morning, is not going to think, I'm not going to cry because my mom is sleeping or not. No, they don't. They are authentic, right? But at some point, we lose that. Babies lose that. And we know now that they will do anything to maintain the proximity and be accepted, like the sense of belonging. And in the circle of security, we learned that babies 11 months old, they already know what mama likes and mom doesn't like. And they start molding, we'll do that. We will start molding yourself to be accepted. So that's where the child development trauma starts. And because we lose the authenticity. Okay, so this is what it is, losing authenticity. Why? Why do we do this? To please our parents, or out of fear, or our need to belong, trumps authenticity. To meet family obligation, so you don't have to be criticized or judged. We put other people first before ourselves. We take some traits, and I'll talk to that. We focus on pleasing others, parents, teacher, etc. We minimize what our needs are and wants are. Workplace restriction, I could be fired. We get used to and think that who we are, until we start getting sick. And yes, because when we start doing all this, we're not authentic, we start getting sick or not feeling happy. And again, I want to remind you that the only way to change anything is not thinking about it. We have to do it in the present. So we find ourselves as adults who don't know what we want, what we like, or what we want to do with our lives. It's time to start again. So again, and these are the traits that people develop when you cut off your authenticity because you want to keep that sense of belonging. Is you start taking care of others and suppress your own feelings. You feel responsible for how others feels. You have a belief to never disappoint anyone, and you suppress healthy anger. And when you suppress healthy anger, the emotion, if you think about the lion, when we're the lion, if you suppress that healthy anger, you're also suppressing your immune system and all that other part that shuts down. And it's not good because that means that we'll be likely might be getting a cold or something. I definitely, every time that I am upset, really upset and all that, I get sick, I feel bad. It doesn't last very long, maybe a day, but because I think I know now that it has to do with that. So again, those are the traits that we use, we adapt to respond to survive. We want to be liked by our family, by the people that we are with. It's the same, but this creates illness. Emotional system is the same as the immune system. Okay, and I'm sure that a lot of you know that now we have the adverse childhood experiences research, that they know that the more children people have in their life when they're little, like divorce in the home, domestic violence, drug and alcohol abuse, or other addictions, feeling unloved, unsafe, fear of deportation, racism, poverty, home food insecurity, mental health in parents or siblings, parent in jail, dead parent, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, neglect, emotional, physical. All that is going to increase addiction, mental health issues, illness, hard to learn, etc. And we usually the people might die earlier. How are we doing with time? I'm running.
Oh, you're right on time for when my alarm went off. So quarter to 2.
Okay, so what
I
do
lost
children...
my video.
Oh, Yeah, I cannot help you. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. I don't know. Why did he lose his video? If you can help him, Elise, I'm going to continue.
Yeah, we can still see you, Otis, but you might just need to find the screen again, maybe.
How do I do that?
Okay, can you do it with chat so I can continue? Because if not, I'm afraid I won't be able to finish. I really want to complete this part. This is really important. What do children learn when they witness abuse or children are being abused themselves, abusing the kids too? So they learn that a person who tells you they love you, they can hurt you too. Being angry is a good excuse to yell, hurt, or hit someone. People who yell, offend, hit, always have good reasons. Apologizing for losing control makes what happened acceptable. Again, what do they learn? They learn that violence is a normal part of a family life. That violence is an appropriate way to resolve conflict or part of parental stress. And this is so toxic, all of it, to tolerate and accept responsibility for other people's violent behavior. So if somebody calls you a name or they hit you, you say, what did I do to provoke that, right? You start taking responsibility as a responsibility for somebody else's behavior. So this is what children learn, and it's not okay. So one point I did think that, for example, all men were abusive, and that was the problem. Patriarchy, all that is the problem. But then I started thinking, looking and seeing my life and my kids and everything else. I know now that somehow, as women, we have a part on this, how we are raising our kids, as well as the fathers, that we all have to play a different role so we don't continue to recreate this learning violence. So children that live domestic violence, they are runaways, they violence on the street, they start using drug and alcohol, food addictions. Because addiction is not just drug and alcohol and food. It could be TV, it could be work, it could be eating, it could be a lot of other things that people take. They get some relief from it or pleasure, and then they crave it. And even though they have negative consequences, they cannot stop it, or they refuse to stop it. That in terms of addiction. So sexual assault, rape, date rape, sexual harassment, use of pornography, teen pregnancy, violence at school, truancy. They don't respect authority. And you have a new generation of violent families because they don't have babies, etc. And this is from Gabor Mate. What is the impact of childhood abuse trauma? Is children, they start disconnected with the self, suppress healthy anger. So you start disconnecting with all your emotions, disconnect with other people, disconnect with nature. Look at what we're doing to Mother Earth, right? We're disconnected with that too. Disconnect with my essence of a spirit, or energy, or God, people can call it. You feel disconnected from that too, and can't or difficult to learn new behavior because you're in constant fight, flight, freeze. And when we're in fight, flight, freeze, we're seeing the lion or the angry face, we cannot learn. Our prefrontal cortex is not working at that moment. The only way that we can learn new things is when we are totally in the present moment, calm, just like the mother and the father, they had everything together. That's where we can learn something. And to cope, we start escaping, responding with something else, and addiction. So addiction is something people do to take care of their pain. Develop mental health illness, again, is an adaptation also to all the trauma. People get physical illness. We know now that a lot of the illness are coming from stress, and we get totally disconnected with self, body, and mind. So this is, again, all the different addictions. could be, yeah, sleeping. I didn't know that sleeping could be an addiction. Smoking, obviously, yeah, watching TV, etc. So the good news is that yes, we were born some time ago, and our kids were born with, and they've been accumulating trauma. This is the person with the trauma here. But then now it's better that we're having different places where we can start talking about what happened to us. Somebody can hear us in the way that you, when you were talking about when do you feel that somebody's seeing, hearing you, and understanding you. That's what we need, right? And then we are going to feel like, oh, yes, I had that experience, but it's not really affecting me. I don't have to carry it anymore. It just perhaps it's a memory. For me, all the trauma that I received from when I was in the relationship, I think I transformed it because I wanted to help other women. And I've been doing that for over 30 years. And that is, I know I think about I'm taking care of others, but also it has brought me a lot of good feelings for me and for my son and my granddaughter, etc. It's good. So a lot of people say, yes, it's true that you had a really hard life and you were hurt, but you're not damaged. You can always recover, always, and heal. And again, this happens in the present moment. We cannot be thinking about the past. Yes, maybe we can be talking about it, but the healing is in this present moment. We really need to do this. And, we have Eckhart Tolle, who is from Vancouver, he has written a lot about the present moment, the now, present of now. And yeah, we need to go back or try to get connected with that, because we've been too much into putting things in our head and thinking about the past or the future and all that, but forgetting that the important part is now, in the present. And that is when you'll be connecting with your children in the present moment. So this is what we need to do. Okay, I can think, I can feel. How do I do this? We perceive emotions in our body, so we need to start kind of feeling. How do we feel our emotion? Is my heart rate fast, going fast? What's going on? I wonder what am I thinking? What am I feeling? Or my hands are tied, or my teeth are tied. What does it mean? Am I feeling a threat? Am I afraid of this person? What's going on? And when I start reconnecting with my body, I am going to be able to connect with my human needs. What human needs am I fulfilling or requiring at this moment? So this is amazing. And we will have Rachel Lam soon doing the nonviolent communication, because underlying all our actions and words is our drive to fulfill our human needs. They dictate all our behaviors and expressions. Imagine, I didn't know that, but connecting your emotions with what your needs are. And I do have a lot of stuff about needs, but we're going. How much more? Many more? How much?
Yes, 7 more minutes.
7 more minutes. Okay, so let me look at that. I want to tell you that it's important to talk to someone if you're facing this, or if you're having a problem with the kids or with the partner. Here there's some information: police, 211. I have the phone number for Kiwasa, Battered Women's Support Services, and the multicultural place, as well as listen to your friend, express empathy, get active, start, if you want to, right, start eating cleaner. That means not too much packaged food, listen to music you love, etc. And I want to go back now. Can we do a quick breakout room, please? What do you think?
Or what? How
The
much
question,
time would you?
just 3 minutes, just a little bit. If people, or maybe we can do it now. Maybe can I, if I can finish this, and maybe we can all come together and talk about what do you think we can do to support moms living in domestic violence or they left domestic violence, so they feel safe. And what can we do for the children so they can come home and feel seen, heard, welcome, so they grow up feeling connected? What can we do as a society, as a community? That would be the question. So I'm going to stop the share.
And the question is in the chat for you.
Did you put it? No,
I did.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Or we can do it all together. Like, I don't know, depending on time. I want to be respectful of time. We can do it together, or I mean,
Do it together. I was going to answer just that it's such a big question. Do you know what I mean? Like the full restructuring of society.
yes, no more nuclear family. Let's do it a little different.
Yeah. A full immediately. I think that everyone's stretched to their limit, so nobody has extra time, you know, and it's capitalism and it's earning money, and you're either kind of working to be middle class, or you're down here kind of in poverty where you can get the most help, but then you're stuck and you try to get out of poverty and then you lose all these benefits and connection, and then you're just working to put food on the table and no one has time to support each other. That's how I feel. No one has time.
So
or
what do you
energy
think
or capacity.
what can we do, let's say, to a place as Kiwasa or other organization? What can you think people can do and offer to moms and children?
Give comfort and validation, and just to be a supportive partner.
So having places to go where you're going to get some comfort and validation and being heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And making the mom feel appreciated for what she's doing as a mother, you know, is huge.
Yeah, it's a huge
For their
sacrifice.
self-worth, right? For their self-beliefs and everything like that, so that they aren't slipping into depression, or
Yes. Yes.
so they can be there for the child, you know.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, when the child are little, if mom is depressed, they take it personal.
Yeah.
I cannot make my mother happy. I cannot make my father happy, because they think it's their job, right? We know it's not, but yeah, that's what happened. Really. Thank you. Yeah, supporting moms and validating them, as well as the fathers. Some fathers are the one, they are taking care of their children. What else do you think we can do with society?
For me, Marilyn, I feel like these workshops are great for us. However, I feel that what Louise talked about, it's a big picture, and it doesn't just have to be with having these kind of workshops. It should be coming funding from the government, who can do more free counseling. Like, my son is on 3 different counseling wait lists. Yeah, I cannot afford the $150 play therapist. What am I to do? I'm just educating myself with workshops like this on how I can help myself as a solo parent and help my son. But I'm limited in resources as well. I gotta work. Like how Louise says, like, you have to, like, where is your peace, and how do you balance things? And going to an organization like Kawasa is great as well, but I feel it's like mental health, society, the children, everyone is suffering has their own story, and we just need government help. And not only government help, but also professionals like counselors to understand domestic violence, to understand the word narcissistic, to understand alienation, and a lot of counselors shine, like, they don't want to talk about it, or they're quick to make a judgment on it. So it's not only educating parents like us, or I don't know if there's other professionals here, but it's also like educating the professionals themselves.
Yes.
What really does exist, or the judges don't even go domestic violence. So it's a broken society, and it's going to continue broken until the government really does something about it.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. But I think all the you talked about alienation, mental health, and other all those are signs that people are traumatized, right? So then that the need for those people that can help you, people can help people for free, or they don't have to wait forever, and because the whole society needs help because of what I talked at the beginning, right? Everybody, men and women, we need help, and we cannot continue with the nuclear family because that is isolation for the moms, and is proven that we can't do perfect. We can try to be perfect, but the kids know that, yes, I can. Anybody else, please? And the comment, what can we
Yeah,
do?
no, it's just hard to find balance when you feel overworked. Like, for instance, like say the mom's home with the kids 24/7 and you're having to work overtime and to make the bills and everything like that in a relationship, it becomes hard to find a balance with each other to comfort each other's needs, you know?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
competing needs. Yes,
Yeah.
is in case it is helpful, I work with a counseling group who provide low-cost counseling. Low cost, that's great. But I think what I hear is a free counseling. I know, but people have to work too. That's maybe the government could be able to, provide some money for that when people don't charge a lot, but thank you. And in terms of as a community, what else can we do as community workers, as community? What can we do to connect with each other? I mean, this is good. We're seeing each other this time. And I also want to say that next week we have a great presenter. It's a man who's going to talk about what he's done to heal himself. And then we have the nonviolent communication, and Ahmad, who is a child therapist. He's great, helping people understand what's going on with the children, with the child. Yes, sorry. Anybody else? Ideas? What do we do? And I know it's not easy because it took me many years from thinking that all men were abusive and it was all patriarchy, it was all colonization, patriarchy, and all that. But to notice it, oh, well, wait a minute. I think it's more to it. And then the nuclear family, oh, this is problematic if we are mammals and we need that community around us. Yeah. Anybody else? Are we over the time? Okay, so maybe. I want to really thank you for giving time to this presentation. I think it's so important that we support, of course, moms, but also our children, right? I mean, even though you get traumatized, there's going to be opportunities to heal. But I think it'd be great if they didn't have too much trauma growing up. I think mother have connection with the baby while pregnant. Yes. Thank you so much. Very validating, awesome info. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for dedicating this time. And I hope you participate in all the other presentations. And if you have any questions, I am at Kiwasa. Let me know. And yeah, and maybe we can create something else, right? What can we do to keep this going too? All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you,
much.
Marilyn.
Thank you,
Ciao.
Marilyn.
Thank you for being here. Bye. For your patience. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Ciao. Take care. I'm going to record. I'm going to